Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're going to have ourselves a 1v1 on Langreskaya Winter. Our heroes today are going to be SturmTigerGiap playing as the Soviets in the blue, and his enemy is going to be none other than PanzerGrenadier1942 playing as the Germans. And I'm guessing we'll probably see some PanzerGrenadiers. Who knows? Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, we see him, interestingly enough, going for, like I've said before, a tactic that has long since been forgotten, and that is building your first tech building right outside your base, right at the edge, so that you have a forward reinforcement position. Now, the reason why this isn't done anymore is because the units that you build, for example, the MG42 that he is building as his first unit from Tier 1, comes from outside of the map, whereas in the original Company Heroes they would spawn from your actual building. So there were, a double benefit to building the building at the very edge, because, well, your unit would come out and be already on the field, faster than if you had built it inside or further inside your base. And then the second benefit is that when you retreat your units, you can reinforce them at your HQ and then send them out to the edge of your base, so they're already fighting and still reinforcing as they move out, which still happens, and that benefit does not go away, but it is only one benefit instead of two as it once was. So anyways, enough to talk about that. Let's talk about our players. We have PanzerGrenadier as the red German player. He, at the time of casting this, currently holds the rank of 13 for the German faction. So pretty awesome player here for the Germans. And his Soviet play is not that far behind, or, well, not that shabby, I should say, as it is ranked 80. So top 100 player on both factions right here. SturmTigerGiap, for his part, is currently ranked 16th for the Soviets. So we have 13 against 16, so a pretty dead even match here. Should be pretty good. And in fact, his German ranked, he is currently ranked number 3 for the German faction. So an amazing player regardless. So we'll see how this works out. PanzerGrenadier going for not PanzerGrenadiers, but MG42s. We have 3 MG42s already off the bat. I'm assuming he's going to be using the MG42s to try to hold this cutoff, as the northern cutoff in Langreskaya is very popular to be harassed. So I'm guessing that's why he wants MG42s. Giap, for his part, went tierless, as you would expect, and getting himself 4 conscript squads already on the field. Conscripts over on the left-hand side, trying to set themselves up for that little flank there to get that that's a strategic point, but we do have a conscript squad, actually no, combat engineer squad that got forced off the field. Also, it should be important to note that PanzerGrenadier opened with 2 Pios, as he took a little bit of time to send the Pio squad to build the Tier 1 a little bit further up, and it helps them cap, so, not too big of a deal, but, an important thing to note. Right-hand side, conscript squad trying to go for the fuel, gets caught by an MG42 out in the open, and is probably going to have to retreat, as there are no other conscripts nearby. We do have one capturing the point a little bit further down south with a second squad there for support, but yeah, that MG42 has that squad on the right-hand side completely pinned down, and it forces a retreat, loses one of its men, but there it goes. Center squad, we see S minefields getting laid down by PanzerGrenadier, as his MG42 just holds the entire center, covering both the little gap here in the hedge and the the approach. An interesting little tidbit here that the PanzerGrenadier did. He set an S minefield, but only built like the first cluster that builds right here. So the rest of the territory was not utilized, and likewise here he only sets up the choke point. So anyways, I'm just mentioning that because, well, we have MG42s just shooting all over the place and locking down the infantry. Back at base, we're probably going to be seeing some tech. We see a bunker going down to get those units back to full strength, and I'm assuming, what are these guys doing? Yeah, they're all building that, and I'm assuming probably some tech. Back at base, we have Tier 2 going down for Giap and getting himself a mortar squad to be able to combat all these MG42s that are sitting around all over the place. And we also see that PanzerGrenadier has selected his doctrine, and that is the Mobile Defense Doctrine, the new doctrine that got introduced very recently, that comes with one of the units that we shall be seeing with the Western Front update. Ooh, nice little move here by PanzerGrenadier. Moves his MG42 over to the right-hand side to cover the right-hand side flank, while he turns around the other MG42 to face the units that were chasing it down, allowing him to actually pin down and stop both of the squads, forcing them away, but he did end up retreating the MG42 anyways, as it had been brought down to 2 men. Center map, that mortar just continues to shoot and set up. We have S minefields on the field, and we have combat engineers with sweepers, so nice move there by Giap. He'll be able to clear these fields. However, we do have piles right on top of the combat engineers that will stop them from removing their oh so valuable S minefields. So that'll be annoying, but he is quite set up, and at the same time we have PanzerGrenadier getting himself sweepers. Sweepers being very popular nowadays for both factions, the Pioneers and Combat Engineers neglecting now, or well, not neglecting, but foregoing, I should say, their flamethrowers now in favor of minesweepers, as mines have been very strong and very popular in this recent patch, especially as minefields and such. So yeah, I mean, not a bad thing to see. So we see this Pioneer squad just getting a beating here by conscripts and the men on that mortar squad, being forced to retreat. They do make it out. The sweepers move up, and it looks like these were removed. Scout car on the field for PanzerGrenadier, as he did go tier 2. We also have an AT gun getting produced for Giap to try to counter that scout car. And the combat engineers in the center are forced to retreat. Mortar on the field, opening up on the MG42, just set up there in the center. Mortar is in range of the MG42, but it will be able to actually bombard the MG42. Ow! MG42 taking a nasty shot there. One of the men gets killed right dead on him. He's trying to crawl away, but he is dead. Scout car gets upgraded with its auto cannon. Scout car is also very strong. Conscripts get suppressed. They are forced to retreat, and there they go. And we still have an MG42 over here on the northern side to stop the conscripts from getting the flank on that. So nice control so far from PanzerGrenadier, not allowing Giap to set himself up for any type of flank, as MG42s are just covering every angle. AT gun and a massive amount of infantry pushing straight on into the middle. We have the mortar probably going to set itself up right behind the hedge. Conscripts following up the AT gun, and we have sweepers moving in through the center to try to clear out that S minefield that still remains. MG42 sets itself up to cover the approach. The mortar squad is right behind the hedge. Nice artillery barrage right on top of the approaching infantry. Pioneer squad gets nailed by it, loses 3 of its men in the process, barely makes it out of the way. Second Pioneer squad is also forced to retreat, moves straight through the path of the artillery and almost gets killed, but stays alive. Mortar squad is forced to pack up a little bit to move out of the way and not get pinned down. It does get suppressed by the MG42, but it stays alive. Scout car opening up on the conscripts as they try to go for the center point, and the conscripts decide to disengage and go to the left. PanzerGrenadier already setting up to anticipate the conscripts. The conscripts Ura past the arc of fire of the MG42 and get behind it. Very nice move there by Giap. The scout car is moving in that direction for PanzerGrenadier to try to help out the MG42. The MG42 is backpedaling. Mortar shots are landing on the conscripts. We can probably see that the mortar now has a friendly kill. Yeah, there it goes. It actually killed that guy. And the MG42 manages to set itself up. Scout car moves in to get some more damage in there, and the conscripts are forced off of the field. So no luck on the left-hand side for Giap. Giap pushing into the center. The conscripts do get pinned down by the MG42. The AT gun moves up, throws an artillery barrage right on top of that MG42. Actually, no, that was just a standard shot. Never mind. That was my mistake. And we see a conscript actually hitting the S minefield, as the S minefield was not able to get cleared out. We still have 2 little clumps there of mines that will eventually blow up, unless the combat engineers do something about it. Doctrine selection for Giap. Giap goes for the shock rifle frontline tactics. We'll see what he gets himself from that. So far he could only get some shock troops if that is what he wants. And we have a blizzard incoming. Pioneers popping into the house, distracting the conscripts as they just shoot at the house aimlessly and get some damage in there, but not too much. MG42 may be able to just pop into the house, get a superior position as more Pioneers just move around. And we have, ooh, interesting, Doctrine. I missed the usage of the ability, but we see Ostrupen on the field now for PanzerGrenadier. This is from the doctrinal ability that he has, where he calls in a group of Ostrupen with essentially random bonuses. I am not particularly familiar on what bonuses you can get, but he gets himself 2 veteran C2 Ostrupen squads, and one of them having an LMG equipped, so not bad. They are still Ostrupen, obviously, so you don't expect miracles, but it does bolster his infantry count and allows him to, stay on the map a little bit longer. Scout car on the right-hand side running into the Combat Engineer Squad. Combat Engineer Squad does get pretty mauled here by the Scout car, but should make it out of there alive just fine. The Scout car will move rather slowly, try to chase it down. 1 man left, very healthy 1 man, however, so he'll be fine. Shots fly, and the Combat Engineer makes it out. Conscripts push forward. Shock troops on the field for Giap. Moving over to the left-hand side, more conscripts flooding on the field. We have 4 conscript squads and a shock troop for Giap, trying to set himself up for some type of flank, but again, the sheer amount of MG42s on the field and more S minefields getting laid down for PanzerGrenadier, that's going to be very annoying. And, well, that is precisely why sweepers are very common right now. Ostrupen right there in the center, getting themselves frozen. They are hypothermic. Squad members will die due to not move, and they also have reduced speed and rate of fire because, well, they're frozen. More shots continue to fly all over the place. Conscripts move over to the right-hand side just to get stopped by the Scout car, MG42s, and the Ostrupen. And the left-hand side, we finally see conscripts just capturing territory. MG42s pushing together right on top of the conscripts. One sets itself up right outside the edge, although no, actually they don't. There they go, they push forward, run straight into the conscripts, set itself up, and the conscript squad is forced to retreat. Both MG42s laying into it, but not doing too much. Back at base, we do have medics for Giap, so he'll be fine. Right-hand side, conscript squad getting not too lucky. Shock troops on the left-hand side also running into some trouble with the S minefields. Conscripts running into the MG42. MG42 loses its gunner, but the conscript squad retreats. And Giap not catching a break there with those MG42s.
Need something built?
Heller mines getting laid down behind a little bit more defensively for PanzerGrenadier. No additional tech so far for Giap, but he does have a doctrine that allows him to call in heavy tanks. However, we are far away from those. Either KV-8 or the IS-2, but those are 9 and 11 command points, and he's only at 4, so Heller mine apparently not going to be coming into play, at least not yet. Center map, conscripts getting pinned down. Left-hand side, artillery barrage going off. Oh, actually hitting the Pioneer squad directly. Losing 2 of its members, forced to retreat. MG42 far off. Conscripts pushing forward with combat engineers nearby for sweeping capabilities. Scout car pushes into the center. We have the conscripts retreating. Shock troops and conscripts moving over to the right-hand side, as we still have just troops laying around all over the place. Another AT gun getting produced for Giap. We do have a pack gun on the field for PanzerGrenadier, a little bit preemptive pack gun, but again, it's, the usual MO, but, well, another type of unit would have probably been better, but he is fine. Scout car moves over to the left-hand side, gonna run into the combat engineers. Combat engineers really not able to combat the scout car, gonna be forced to retreat, and there they go. Center map, conscripts trying to engage the Ostrupen. The Ostrupen are holding strong there. They are still at 6 men. The mortar ended up dealing a little bit more damage towards his friendlies than the Ostrupen. So we have 3 friendly kills on one of the mortars and 2 friendly kills on one of the other mortars. No enemy kills on the second mortar for Giap, so his mortar's not really helping out that much right now. We'll see if they end up turning the tide at some point. Shock troops get caught right in the middle as an MG42 is set up to cover. LMG also opening up from the Ostrupen. Forced to retreat, losing some of its men, but they make it out. Mortar shots continue to fly and actually almost hit the shock troop squad as they run. MG42 with incendiary rounds opens up on the AT gun and eliminates the squad, leaving the AT gun just there for the taking. And we see the Ostrupen squad dodging in its direction, running straight at it, and gonna be taking that AT gun. That is quite unfortunate here for Giap. He now has another AT gun that he has to deal with. And the conscripts just push forward on top of the Ostrupen. The Ostrupen forced to retreat, and there they go. They make it out. LMGs and MG42s all over the place, not allowing the infantry to move forward. I feel like maybe Tier 2 was not the best choice there for Giap. Maybe a Tier 1 scout car would have helped him out with all those MG42s, especially with the lack of Faustin capabilities. But of course, well, hindsight is 2020, so I mean, he had no way of knowing the composition completely. He's assigned MG42s, and mortars are not a bad choice, but so far, it's not worked out too well, and PanzerGrenadier has been very actually aggressive and mobile with his MG42s, not keeping them in place for too long, so the mortars are not able to really get a damage on them. For example, this one was set up to cover this approach. It forced away the conscript squad, and then it packs up and moves itself over there, so it's not just sitting there where it was to get mortared. So not bad by PanzerGrenadier. He's actually doing amazingly well. Victory points are 358 for Giap and 470 for PanzerGrenadier. Giap drops the LOL. Not exactly sure what he's referring to. Something happened that I didn't notice? Well, something that is happening that somebody hasn't noticed is that PanzerGrenadier has skipped all the way to Tier 4 and is going for a Panther. Not exactly sure that I agree. In fact, I don't agree with the Panther. A Brummbär in this situation would actually be amazing. Hell, even a Panzerwerfer would also help out. Just use it to counter those mortars and things like that. But a Brummbär would just be deadly. However, there are AT guns on the field. Only one so far, but I mean, at this point, I should say. Because there were two, but there we go. PanzerGrenadier decides to cancel his Panther and goes for the Brummbär. That is excellent. That is a very aggressive move, and it will pay off severely because, well, there's no tech for SturmTigerGiap. He is waiting for those call-ins, and he still does not even have the ability to call in a KV-8, let alone an IS-2. So there we go. Left-hand side, Pios behind the lines, forced to retreat as they take some damage. MG42 moves itself up right in front of all the infantry squads. Nice artillery barrage there from the AT gun, although it misses the MG42. MG42 packs up and leaves. Takes a shot, loses 2 of its men, but the other 2 men were further behind and they make it out. Left-hand side, combat engineers trying to capture that point. As the MG42 still just laying into the infantry, mortar squad is forced to retreat. Conscript's also trying to retreat from the house, taking a lot of damage in the process, down to 1 man. Can he make it out? The MG42 is turning its sights on that 1 man. Does make it out, stays alive, barely. Yeah. Giap is in a lot of trouble. Brummbär now on the field. With that Brummbär, he's in massive amounts of trouble. That AT gun is the only thing that may keep him alive, but the Brummbär is a heavier tank. Can't actually take damage from the AT gun and get behind it. However, it is a little bit more difficult for the Brummbär, considering it doesn't actually have a turret. However, with its very powerful main gun shot, it will do a lot of damage. Oh! First shot on that, goes 5 kills, eliminates the mortar squad, and forces the retreat of a lot of other squads, and there it goes. Look at all the house kills. 1 shot and all that damage goes down. 1, 2. Actually, how much was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Those are 9 guys dead. I'm assuming then something else killed them because he only gets 5. The weapon itself didn't get destroyed, so there's no reason to say like, oh, well, it was because of that. Stolen artillery gun, just throwing an artillery barrage right on top of the infantry. Nails the conscript squad, almost eliminates the mortar squad once again, then recovered the weapon. So Giap's just not catching a break here. Gets himself another AT gun on the field, and there it goes. Oh, not there it goes. There it goes. But yeah, that Brummbär is just wrecking house. Shots continue to fly. It looks like he recovered an MG42 at one point, but MG42 has now been abandoned by dead infantry, and we just see PanzerGrenadier pushing forward with everything. His MG42 is just closing the distance, recovering his stolen MG42 with those Ostrupen retreating. Artillery barrage right on top of the MG42s. This might actually be a nice shot. Misses both shots. Another shot will fly off, and it just flies wide. No luck, not catching a break. That is unfortunate for Giap. Artillery, or AT gun moves in to counter the artillery of the Soviet AT gun. Nails it, hitting two of them, forcing them to back off. Oh my god, actually nails it on the retreat, loses the weapon. KV-8 now available to get called in. The KV-8 will help out against all the infantry. The AT gun did get decrewed and could actually decrew the other TAC gun, but the Brumbar will be a threat to the KV-8, even though it's not designed against tanks. Yeah, the KV-8 has an even weaker weapon against tanks, so it's still a good choice, though. And there we go. KV-8 gets called in, so this is exactly what Giap needs, although he needs something more. But with this, he may be able to pull himself back into the game and push back out, get rid of all those MG42s and all that infantry. He moves over to the left-hand side. Flamethrowers going off on the Ostrupen. Ostrupen getting burned alive. It's a veteran C3. Ostrupen gets eliminated completely. Nice pickup here for Giap. One less infantry unit to deal with. He's moving over to the left-hand side. The Pios with flamethrowers are now the target of the KV-8. The KV-8 flamethrower goes off. Pioneer squad retreating. Flamethrower burst continues to go off. Burns one of them. Burns a second and a third. Down to one man, but it does make it out. And there it goes. We do have teller mines on the field for PanzerGrenadier. However, Giap does not know where. We do know that one is right there, but I don't see any others all over any other place. Nah, I don't see any. Ostrupen push forward. KV-8 getting its flamethrower off on them. Pack gun trying to get some shots on that KV-8. Mortar shots flying. We do have mortars. No? That was a weird shot. Ostrupen squad retreats down to one man. Barely makes it out once again. Lucky there for Giap. The Brumbar attacks ground where the KV-8 was a second ago, but he misses. Shots continue to fly. Not sure what it's trying to hit, but not a bad decision there by PanzerGrenadier to attack ground. It is potential areas where it would hit. Panzer Warfare now in the field for PanzerGrenadier. Throws a barrage straight into the enemy base, right outside of it, nailing nothing. Most of it, yeah, everything actually managed to dodge that. We do have an AT gun that took some damage. We see the conscripts moving back to recover that AT gun and get themselves reinforced. Although it looks like they're simply going to be moving out by themselves to cap, although combat engineers are moving in that direction, so they would probably benefit from reinforcing instead, but we'll see. We do have a lot of manpower saved up by PanzerGrenadier. Brumbar pushes up, nails two of the conscripts on the approach. AT grenade does go off on the Brumbar, damaging its engine. The conscript squad retreats at 2 men. The KV-8 is sitting around dancing, staying a little bit at a distance as there is a pack gun on the field. The pack gun is somewhere. It's actually retreating all the way back, so it actually was a decent option for the KV-8 to push forward right now, but again, I don't think Giap will be that bold. He needs to be a little bit more defensive as he is on a little bit of a tough spot. He needs to rally and win key engagements, essentially. Ostrupen pushing forward, getting burned alive by that flamethrower. Down to 3 men on the retreat, forced to retreat. MG42 also forced to retreat. The infantry needs to push forward as well, try to get this advantage. Brumbar now fully repaired. The Pios retreating. Pack-gun moving into the left-hand side as it runs straight into the KV-8. The KV-8 going to be burning the Pack-gun alive. There it goes, losing one of its men. The other men down goes the second one, and down to 2 men on the end of that burst. The KV-8 just sits in front of it and burns it alive, and there we go. So Giap may actually be able to pull this off. KV-8 moves straight into the front of the base, breaks open the hedge, and the main gun gets activated. But the main gun isn't really going to do too much to the Brumbar. The Brumbar will actually do damage to the KV-8 instead. Again, it's not designed against tanks, but the damage potential is going to be better. Scout car is still on the field with its autocannon. It will be able to get some damage off on the KV-8. The KV-8 just continues to shoot with its main gun on the Brumbar. The Brumbar is just nailing it with its main gun directly, again doing damage. Flamethrower goes off, trying to get some kills on infantry as it can, but one more shot from the Brumbar and down goes the KV-8. Big mistake there by Giap. There was no reason for him to push like that. He could have actually gone for a strafing run into the base and try to kill off and pick off some, you know, infantry instead, but trying to face off against the Brummbad. The Brummbad is a heavy tank. I mean, it's a heavy tank. There's no other way to say it. And the gun from the KV-8 is not going to do anything against heavy tanks. It barely does anything against medium tanks. Oh, against mortar. Take that. Mortar shot lands, but doesn't do anything. IS-2, however, does come into the field for Giap now, so that may help him turn the tide once again. The KV-8 did inflict quite a bit of damage. One of the MG42s did get taken out. Not exactly sure where it is, or if it can be recovered, maybe. But at least one of them is out of action for now. And no Struppen squad also went down as well. So we can see that the amount of troops that PanzerGrenadier has is quite reduced compared to Giap. So Giap pushes forward with his IS-2. AT gun behind it, doing a lot of damage to the Brummbad. The crew does get shocked on the IS-2. However, the IS-2, or well, the AT guns behind it managed to get the Brummbad abandoned. Sturmpanzer 4. Panther now on the field for PanzerGrenadier. Gonna put up a big fight here against that IS-2 as it is supported by a pack gun. The conscripts move forward, and are they actually going to go for the Brummbad? No, it does not look like they're going to go for the Brummbad. The IS-2 backs off as it is supported by AT guns. Oh, the Panther takes a massive hit and loses its main gun, forced to back off. It does stay alive, however. AT guns are having to back off as Ostruppen are right on top of them, and the IS-2 is still on the field. IS-2 able to get some good damage there on the Ostruppen, but the Ostruppen are... Why did these guys retreat? The Ostruppen are going to rush forward. Are they actually going to go recover the Brummbad? Yes, they recovered the Brummbad. The squad ends up dying, and the AT gun does get decrewed. The IS-2 pushes forward, getting some more damage on it by that pack gun. The pack gun shoots it once again. Will it take it down? No, it does not. As the pack gun going down. Oh, never mind. Well, there you go. Brummbad, however, did get recovered by PanzerGrenadier, and that is again a big mistake by Giap. If he wasn't going to be recovering it there, he should have killed it. He had AT guns right in front of it. He got a little bit greedy. He wanted to get a Brummbad for himself, which obviously would have been amazing and turned the game in his favor quite significantly. But now, even though they are quite out of commission and need to be repaired, he has a Panther and a Brummbad that he needs to deal with. So that is not a good position to be in, and his IS-2 is heavily damaged, so he as well needs to repair it. So he's going to take a while to be able to push out onto the field, so at that time, both of these other tanks are going to be back in full working order. So yeah, he's just put himself in a bad spot there. Ostruppen push forward. They're probably going to go straight and recover that pack gun. Yeah, pack gun gets recovered, and there we go. AT gun gets stolen. Oh, that is bad news for Giap. Okay, so yeah, you can see there, those are the... well, yeah, essentially mistakes that he made. If he had taken different decisions in those, they would have probably been in better positions. These AT guns and things, you know, would have probably been better to just destroy them rather than let your enemy recover them. So that is a key to the game, essentially. Weapons, weapon teams, and vehicles. If you can take them from your enemy, take them. But if you can't take them, destroy them, because it's, you know, it's better. Denying your enemy a weapon, even if you can't use them against them, you're denying it to them. So now, PanzerGrenadier has himself 2 AT guns that he has to deal with, so the IS-2 will not be able to push up by itself very easily. And it's probably just going to get annihilated. And with the artillery barrage, he's also just getting annihilated there, losing yet another mortar on the field. One mortar is in the middle, does get recovered there by that conscript squad. The other one gets decrewed and going to have to get recovered once again. We do have AT guns still on the field, just set up to cover the approach. IS-2 still getting repaired. It is barely at about 30% strength. 40 maybe if you're optimist there, but not catching a break. Panzer Warfare Barrage right on top of another AT gun. Loses some more men, down to 4, but stays alive. Conscripts could move into merge, or he could back it up all the way to the base to reinforce and heal up. We'll see what he does. It looks like he is going back to the base. Command tank does get called in for PanzerGrenadier. It's an interesting, though, that he utilized this Doctrine without using the Puma. I mean, it's okay. It gives you smoke and command tank. And he did utilize the Ostrupin, but I don't know. I mean, usually you're expecting the Puma with that, but well, there you go. Conscripts in the center, just getting mauled there by all the fire. We see command tank, Brumbar, and Panther just pushing forward. The Panther is still damaged on its engine. The IS-2 is not at full strength. It's trying to hold the line against all these tanks. The command tank taking quite a beating in the frontal armor, forced to back off. The IS-2 now focusing its guns on the Panther. The Panther is back there. The AT guns are a little bit further behind. Here comes the AT gun and the pack gun behind it. They will be able to get a lot of damage in on that IS-2. The IS-2 now getting shot at from the AT guns and the pack gun. Nice shot there on the side armor. IS-2 backs off and makes it out of there. But, well, once again, the tanks are fine. One is about half strength, both of them half strength, but the Pios will repair and it'll be back out. KV-8 getting called into the field for PanzerGrenadier. Meh, I mean, I don't personally agree with that choice, but it's fine. The KV-8 again, heavy tank, it can absorb some damage if it leaves the charge, and the flamethrower will deal with the AT guns very effectively, so that's nice. I mean, 2 IS-2s would have dealt with the tanks very easily, as, you know, they can burst them down very quickly before PanzerGrenadier can react. But I mean, this is a nice combination. It helps out against multiple threats. Ostrupin squad getting caught by the IS-2 and the KV-8, and getting burned alive by the KV-8 as they run. The IS-2 trying to turn its gun. It shoots one of the men on the Ostrupin squad. The Ostrupin squad continues to retreat. Flamethrower burst goes off. Shots continue to fly, and they actually make it out at 3 men. That is a very lucky Ostrupin squad. It should have actually lost more, but the squad was luckily very spread out as it was retreating, so it managed to, well, just stay alive. AT gun gets decrewed very quickly by the KV-8 and the IS-2. Shots fly at the IS-2. The IS-2 going to be going down, so the KV-8 will die as well, as it will not be able to accomplish much. There goes out of control, loses its main gun, and the KV-8 just sits there in the center, throwing its flamethrower at, well, nothing really, as it's not really going to do any damage against the tanks. Main gun won't do any damage as well. AT gun, however, does get brought up to do some more damage to the tanks. Panther does take damage to the engine by an AT nade, but the AT gun does get decrewed there by the Brumbar. KV-8 backs off at half strength, and it stays alive. Panzer Warfare still on the field. The command tank pushes forward, very low in health. SMG-42s and Ostrupin just continue to support the Brumbar. The Pios... Actually, no, the Pios are moving down to repair the Panther. Panther is a critical part of that composition, as it is the one that will do most damage to the KV-8. And the MG-42s push up to get another decrew on another AT gun, and the flamethrowers go off on the MG-42s, but they don't manage to do much. Shots fly, and down goes the KV-8. Giap now in a horrible spot, as there are 4 vehicles to deal with, and he has 1 AT gun, and that is it. He lost another one. It is set up in a nice angle there. We'll be able to get some shots up on the Panther. It misses the first shot, however, as it bounces off the side armor. Gets an 18 hit off. Hits the engine. The Panther and PanzerGrenadier is doing the correct thing here and shooting the weapon to try to decrew it. However, SturmTigerGiap manages to recover it. He will be losing the weapon very soon, however, as it is ridiculously low in health, but he does manage to get some more shots off on that Panther. However, it misses completely, so it's not really having too much of an impact. Shots continue to fly, and the Panther makes it out of there at about 30% strength. Down to less than 100 points for Giap. He does not seem to be in a position now to recover. Infantry troops are essentially equal, even though he does have Ostrupins as part of that composition. But he does have that massive advantage as far as vehicles, especially in the form of a command tank and a Brumbar. Those are really good against infantry, plus a Panzer Warfare. Yeah, that's just gravy. Another KV-8 gets called into the field by Giap, but I feel that that is now just not going to do much. Ostrupin sneak a they sneak a steal there on that mortar on the right-hand side. So there's now a mortar that's going to be shooting on the Soviet forces. They are set up right there in a nice little clump, and they will get shot. AT gun actually takes a shot there by the mortar, losing some more men. The KV-8 pushes forward, and it burns the Ostrupin alive that were on that mortar, clearing it off. and it moves over to the right-hand side to run into another Ostrupen squad that will be getting in range for a Faust. Decides to back off a little bit as he does not want to get Fausted, and off goes the Ostrupen. Command tank does get decrewed. Again, very unlucky there for Giap, as he did not get the kill on that. But even then, it is a command tank, so the command tank isn't really the bigger threat here. But still would have been nice to kill it, even though another one would have got called in immediately. In fact, he's actually in a position where he can call in two. So he can call one in right now and then just go recover the command tank and have two command tanks on the field. That's actually sexy. Very sexy. KV-8 in the center, forcing away infantry, but not managing to accomplish much else. Forced to back off, less than half health on it. The command tank still there alive, just sitting there. And the Panther pushes straight into the center, runs into the AT gun. The AT gun shoots it, and now gets flanked. Second AT gun, however, is behind it to set up, getting a lot of damage in on that Panther. The Panther moves out of the way, gets some more damage on it. Ooh, down to about 30% strength. Backs off and stays alive. Broombar getting repaired at about 90% strength now. And the KV-8 on the right-hand side still just moving around at less than half strength. Mortar on the field, runs into the other mortar and tries to recover territory. Left-hand side, we do have a pack gun just being used to cap. Not exactly sure why that pack gun is moving by itself around there, but, well, there he goes. And MG42 still in a pair, just moving in together, covering themselves, and there they go. AT guns covering the center. They'll be able to get some shots off on those MG42s, but since they are AT guns, they won't be able to do a lot unless an artillery barrage is used. Burst goes off from the MG42, decrews the AT gun, so the AT gun is now inert. Shot flies from the Broombar, destroys the weapon, and the conscripts retreat as they were about to go get that weapon back. Weapon needed to get repaired severely as it was very low in health, which is another thing that I've mentioned that would be nice to be able to see the weapon strength while you have the actual weapon in your possession rather than, you know, until it gets decrewed. But here you only see the weapon, the health of the members, and the experience. So the KV-8 goes down in the center, as you would expect. There was a pack gun nearby, and the Broombar is able to kill it very easily. Broombar with 25 kills to its name and 3 vehicles destroyed, and who knows how much more damage it had done before it lost its original crew. But it's still alive. There it goes. SturmTigerGiap throws a GG and ends the game. So yeah, very unfortunate game there for Giap. Nice of him to upload a replay where he lost, but yeah, I mean, there were some key. I mean, I don't like to criticize because I'm a worse player, but you know, some key mistakes there, and those were the kind of like the greedy plays where the Broombar got left there and he was trying to get it for himself. He would have been better off just destroying it because it ended up falling back into the hands of his enemy. And then also the AT guns just leaving them in the center. Again, if he wasn't going to recover them quickly, just destroy them because, again, a lot of his own AT guns ended up back in the hands of his enemy. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.